Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to the Popternative Podcast. This is the podcast where we have digital discussions, the worlds of pop culture, social media, sports, everything really. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis. On Twitter, you go as PD Beats. Wanted to thank everyone who's been listening or watching our episodes these past couple of weeks. I know we have been posting a lot, but whether you're listening to them on iTunes, Spotify, or watching them on YouTube or the clips on Facebook, thank you very much. Really excited to be joined by an actor. He's in some of my favorite movies that I used to watch growing up. He was in Heavyweights, played Jerry Carp and Mighty Ducks. We're with Aaron Schwartz. Aaron, welcome to Popternative, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
No problem. So, take us through kind of why, you decided you want to go in that field as a young kid. Because I was always wondering, a child actor, it's a completely different life. You're trying to live your regular life as kind of coming of age growing up, but you have call times, you have auditions. How are you able to balance all of that, and what got you into that?
Actually, I was like a little kid. I don't know. Sometimes people just go, they like little kids wake up and they go, I want to be an astronaut. I had my little moments of I want to be an astronaut, but it immediately happened. I remember seeing my brother do a play. I was around 4 years old. And my brother did a play out in New York, and I saw it, and I was just like, I just loved just the idea of it. I don't know. It seemed like I kind of equated to a really huge magic trick acting, when doing movies and TV. So I saw that and I was just like, I was just in love. And I was about 5, 6 years old, and it's 5 years old, I think. And then I remember I told my mom I want to act, and we'd see my mom saw a casting notice on the school that I was going to, the kindergarten or first grade that I was going to, and I went and auditioned for it. And it was a group called Theater and Dance Alliance, or TEDA. And I started with them, and I was around 6 years old. It was pretty crazy. I just got a contact with one of the owners of TEDA. Somebody hit me up on Facebook, and I didn't know, but Jordan Peele was an alumni of TEDA, so I was in good company doing that. And I started there and just kept on going. And I didn't really look at it this is a different childhood. From my perception where I was, I didn't see a difference in childhood. I just thought, okay, this is what I want to do, and I became obsessive about it. I really became obsessive about it, and just decided to just keep on going and doing it. And I didn't think about I was a normal kid too. I played with my friends, between, but I had this strange inner drive to be a movie star, quote unquote. When I get older, or as soon as possible. And, I just hustled until it happened.
No, for sure. And we see you're at, a lot of comic conventions. I don't think nostalgia and, geek and comic culture was ever not very popular, but I feel like there's just been a boom in the last couple of years. That there's so many conventions. There's so many. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
There's just been a big boom.
Huge boom. Yeah. It's become I would do something, I'm not like a huge celebrity out there. So the Comic-Con, sometimes I will do the big Comic-Con. Sometimes I'll do very small ones. If somebody offers me a Comic-Con out in the middle of nowhere, I'll be like, oh, that sounds interesting. I've never been to that community. What is it? 5,000 people is the population? Sure. Let's check it out. And, when you see that, you realize that it's starting to hit all the crevices of society. Comic-Cons are going everywhere. And it's surreal. It's a whole new thing that it's pretty exciting. And, I'm happy with the whole nostalgia boom as well, because, that's people are loving all the old 90s stuff. And why not? Some of the best movies were made in the 90s.
No, for sure. And we'll talk a little bit about Mighty Ducks. I do have a few questions about that. But you're in one of the most in my opinion, one of the most underrated comedies of all time. You were in Heavyweights. You played Jerry. Now that movie, man, my sister and I, that's one of our favorite movies. There's so many lines from that movie. I can't even. So, talk about that. Talk about, what you kind of expected when you were going into it, because I know that there's a little bit of familiarity because you did Mighty Ducks and then did Heavyweights, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So it's which one came first?
The Ducks definitely came first.
Yeah.
The Ducks was my first. I did a bunch of different little things. I did a show called Pete and Pete with Danny Tamborelli, who's also in the Ducks. And it was like a little, like right after that, like I did a small little part in Pete and I was when I did Pete and Pete, I was starstruck. I was just like fanboying all the way because like a year before that, Pete and Pete started turning into that half an hour episodic, and I was obsessed with it, and I wanted to be Little Pete's friend, so I ended up going and doing that. And after that whole thing happened, that was like the beginning of me actually, starting to really act in like professional shows. And so then I booked the Ducks, and that was like my major thing. And then after that, it was maybe about a year and a half later, 2 years later, I think. And Steve Brill hit me up and said, "You want to come audition for this?" And I came in, and the rest is history. Yeah, it was fantastic.
Absolutely. And do you also find that there was kind of like, did you expect that heavyweights and the Mighty Ducks were, I mean, how could you expect it, right? That they were going to be so popular or have that following. But did you kind of have this idea when you were filming them that, this could become something special?
Not really. I did have a feeling of there was this big camaraderie. I mean, the moment me filming Mighty Ducks was a surreal, like once in a lifetime moment. I remember when I was 10, 11, when I was filming that, and I knew the scope of it. Like the budget they had was pretty big. It was a Disney film. There were big cameras all over the place. I knew the scope of it by sitting there and looking at it going, wow, this is real. This is like, even at 11, I was like, this is happening. Like almost like pinch myself.
Oh yeah.
So like, I think I was so overwhelmed with the idea that I'm going to be in a big movie that I really didn't like, there wasn't room in my head to like, I think about, is this going to be a blockbuster? Is it going to, I don't think my head was there at the time. I was just so, awestruck the whole time that I was doing this. And also the feeling of familiarity and the feeling of we created a big family. It's still to this day. Jordan Kerner, who's a producer, he helped create the Ducks. He calls us a family. We have like there's emails where he sends all of us emails, and he's, "Hey, Ducks family," and it's like it's always been like that from the very beginning. They created that, and we all still feel like a family. I don't think we ever will not feel like family, and that's the beauty. And I think that kind of showed when we were doing it. We kind of said, "Oh, there's something here. There's something here. I wonder if the audience is going to see this as well, because if they do, it's going to be massive." For sure.
When you gave back to heavyweights, though, did you expect and know that Lars was going to become a fan favorite and be kind of this meme and this give?
You want to hear something? Speaking of Lars, something it's Tom is like, I love that man. I haven't seen him in years since we did the Blu-ray DVD. He's incredible. And I don't know if the viewers, I don't really care if viewers knowing. I just had a little bit of a sinus surgery. I've had sinus allergies and stuff. And I had a little surgery over this weekend. And the surgeon's assistant was friends with Tom.
Wow.
He was like, hit me up. He like right before I'm about to go under. And he's like, "Oh, by the way, I told Tom you're going to be here. It's pretty, So
man, it was just, there's so many characters in that movie, man.
Yeah. It's great. I mean, Brill and Apatow, they're just, Steve Brill's just like a writing machine. He can write and direct, and he'll just churn them out and make some really good content. And, Judd is Judd. What more can I say? So, like, they're just, comic geniuses, and they come up with these crazy, surreal ideas and, and then cast them so well, like with Ben Stiller. It was fun to be a part of that. And definitely it was, as I look back on it, it's I can definitely see the comic genius behind a lot of the things that were happening.
So a lot of people that follow you on social media, they see that you're still acting, you're still working. There was a few movies that you're working on and you're promoting. You've been in. You've had a few episodes in shows like Gossip Girl and Suits. Talk a little bit about the Aaron Schwartz now, and what are some of kind of the goals now in terms of the type of work that you like doing? What have you been working on lately?
Aaron Schwartz now I like to act. I really enjoy the art and the craft of acting, and I enjoy being on set, and I enjoy collaborating with other artists. The stuff I've been working on, like the last thing I've been working on, it's a short called Pony Boy, which it was a role that it was so hard for me to kind of like sink my teeth into it, and I like challenging myself. Let's just say that, and I think right now I'm going to be definitely taking a lot more roles that are going to be challenging and a little difficult, and I might fall on my face on a couple of them and not really pull it off, but I'd rather do that than just kind of stay safe and just do your average, a role that'll fit me, or, like the boy next door kind of stuff. I really want to get into the character realm of the business and play villains and play, quirky characters. And you're definitely going to see a lot more interesting and off kilter characters from me in the future.
Absolutely. I gotta ask, because you're acting now. You say you enjoy acting. You got a lot of different projects on the works. I mean, someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, the Mighty Ducks," or "Hey, the Heavyweights." I mean, that was a long, long time ago. But I mean, it is and even though it's one of those things where it was such a long time ago, and you're not working on anything like kind of similar to that now, it's still a huge part of your life. And I feel like do you ever get? I'm sure you never get tired talking about it.
I don't. Actually, yeah. I've had friends ask me, does that suck? Like, did you have to keep on like going back to your childhood? Honestly, no, it never does. I'm forever grateful for the opportunity I had as a kid. I mean, I want to beat it with a stick and over nostalgia everything. I definitely don't want to do that. But at the same time, as long as there's a market, and as long as people are still fans of those movies, I don't see a problem in always going back and talking about it, or going and doing signings, or people coming up and handing me Heavyweights DVDs to sign. Like, I'm grateful that I was able to be a part of celluloid history. That's like one of the most amazing things that I feel so grateful to have in my life, is that no matter what happens in the future, somebody can always go back and look at Heavyweights, or look at Mighty Ducks, or Pete and Pete, or all these things I did as a kid, because they're ingrained in it. They're like carved in stone. And I think that's the most amazing thing about movies and television, is that they're always there. And I got to be a part of something pretty amazing. So
absolutely.
I'm grateful.
No, that's really cool, man. That's really cool. Well, Aaron, I think we'll wrap up. First off, thank you so much. I know we've been trying to do this for a while. I'm really happy that we finally got this done. That's awesome.
Definitely. Me too.
And where now that the floor is yours to plug away, where could people follow you on social media? Anything cool coming up that they should be on the lookout for? Plug away, man.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a movie coming up pretty soon. I'm not sure when it's going to be released. It's called After Party. And that is going to be a pretty big. There's Vitali. I forgot his last name. He's a very big YouTube star.
Yes, I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
Vitali's a lead in it. There's a whole bunch of I'm kind of a grandpa when it comes to all this stuff, but there's like these huge YouTube stars, and this movie is kind of like it's kind of like. What's the movie? Scream meets the modern Scream, I guess. And, Ray J's in it, Danny Trejo's in it, Vitali's in it, Tonio Skitz, who does a lot of YouTube sketches, is in it. It's filled with all these people, and I get to play a pretty fun character in that. So it's a horror film that I just did.
Awesome.
And that's going to be release sometime next year, so definitely look out for that.
Cool.
I just did a small little cameo in my friend man, I'm sorry, my brain is blanking.
No problem.
It's called Advent, I think. He's gonna hate me if I don't get it right, but I think it's called Advent. Or and Thomas Ian Nicholas, my friend who played Rookie of the Year, and he was in American Pie.
Oh man, we've been trying to get him on the show for a while.
Oh really? I'll
these
look for
people.
you guys. Yeah, I'll give him a call. But yeah, I did a little cameo in there. And then this thing, Pony Boy, that I was telling you about.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of it. I really hope that they are able to make it into a feature. If that's what River Gallo, who's the creator, writer, producer of it, and
I saw clips. It looks intense.
Yeah, you know, it's a little crazy. It's a little insane. It's definitely something obscure and different. And I don't know if a lot of it's definitely I don't know. It's a unique film, but it's I really think it's powerful and beautiful, and the character I get to play is definitely something really fun. So it's called Pony Boy, and definitely keep a lookout for that. It's a short film, so I don't know if it's going to be fully released, but I have a feeling you'll hear a lot about this film in the upcoming year. So,
and where can people follow you on social media? What are the handles?
Yeah, so it's Aaron Schwartz 11. So AARONSCHWARTZ 11, and it's everywhere. It's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Just follow me up there.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, man.
Thank you for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for the previous episodes. If you want to listen, Spotify and iTunes. Until next time, it's Aaron Schwartz and Peter Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.